Hi everyone and welcome back. Oh my god. Yes! What do you want? Hello. Come here. Come here. He doesn't want to jump up for as much as he's complaining. Yes, come here. Hello. So it's this one's birthday today. Happy birthday to this cheeky cat. Yes, but it's not only this cat's birthday. Today I am filming my 2019 wrap up. Okay. So this year I read 22 books technically on Goodreads, but one of them's a picture book, one of them is a joke book, which I'll get to later, and another one is a short story that's actually at the end of one of these books. So minus these 3 books, I read 19, I think. Is that how you do maths? Anyway, if you hear rustling in the background, that is the cat. Please ignore him. So in the first one, well, I'd first like to just mention, not only do I have Goodreads to monitor, not monitor nor track, more to keep record of what books I read, and that's by having a reading jar every year. So since 2014, since 2014 I have bought a jar every year. I've written on it the year that I am reading. Yep, I've written the year, and I write the titles of the books I've read on pieces of paper, and I've stuck them in there. I've seen nicer reading jars where people actually fold the pieces of paper into like little star origami. I am not that good at, I don't even want to try it. Wait, is it star or is it hearts? Either one, really cute. I mean, I could try and learn, but at this point I think I kind of just like the mix match of paper that's squished in the jars. So yes, so I've got that, and I would pull out all the pieces of paper, but they're not, I mean, I feel like it's just easier if I go off of my Goodreads list, because that would also be in the order that I've read the books, and it would be easier to explain everything, I guess. So the first thing that I read of 2019 was the joke book. Oh, where is it? There's like so many things. And it was Milk and Vine. So I don't want to really count this because it's basically just vines. If no one's heard of this before. What, Loki? What? He's purring, but I don't know what he wants. What? Yes, you are being held accountable right now. What do you want? Yeah, so if any of you don't know what Milk and Vine is, there's a lot of backlash on it taking the name from Milk and Honey, but it has nothing to do with Rupi Kaur's poetry. This is just all basically vines written down. So an example would be I'll try one that's not swearing. Okay, so we've got, hi, welcome to Chili's, and then there's also 2 bros sitting in the hot tub, 5 feet apart because they're not gay, and then they've got like shitty drawings. So that's basically what all this is. and so I'm not counting this as proper reading, but it's on Goodreads, so you know what, I put it on the list, and that was the first of the year. But my first proper read was actually Norwegian Wood, and I don't have my copy with me at the moment, and I gave it 4 stars, and I did a mini review of this in another video. It was my first proper literary read, and it just didn't have, because it's literary, it doesn't have one or the other genre, it's kind of just a mix of multiple, and they're all very subtle. So in that regard, I was kind of dissatisfied because it didn't have one or the other, and it didn't really have much of what I wanted, but it was still very enjoyable. The next one of the year was Of Triton by Anna Banks. Yes, Of Triton by Anna Banks. This is the second in the, what's the series called? The Serena Legacy. First one's Of Poseidon, this is the second, and this is unbelievably difficult enough to find in this cover print, so finding the last one's even more difficult. So I think that's part of the reason why I haven't read it. And this is the one that has the short story in it. So for that, because it's technically separate on Goodreads, I added it, but it's a part of this. So yeah. Yes, that was the second proper read of the year, and I gave that 3 stars because it's one of those shitty filler books that you read because you can't be bothered committing to something proper. And yeah, one of my goals is always to finish off series, and because I read Of Poseidon, I felt like I had to read this, and eventually, if I can ever find it, I'll read Of Neptune. But yep, that was that read. I'm putting this down. Oh, okay, here we go. The next one I read was Nevernight by J. Kristoff, and I read this, well, I started reading it before I went on holidays, and then my family went to Vanuatu for a week, and because if you're not doing touristy stuff all the time, and if you're not at the pool, and you're not going to be for the whole time, I spent solid chunks reading, and it was so good. And then I came back to Australia, and I didn't touch the last few pages for a very long time, which I feel like that's a side effect of reading J. Kristoff. But yes, read it. It was great. 5 stars for me, and it's still one of my 5-star reads of all time because I will never not love Nevernight. The next book I read was The Daylight Gate by Jeanette Winterson, and I read this for uni, and a lot of emotions. I feel like I've mentioned this in a fair few videos, and I'm just gonna leave it. I give it 4 stars. That's it. Moving on. The next one I read after that was God's Grave. And enough said, because am I still getting over the ending? Yes, because anyway, I don't have fully formed thoughts over this yet, especially when I haven't read Dark Dawn. So yes, 5 stars. And then after that, as probably expected, I was in a reading slump and a half, because those books just seem to be so perfect to me that it's hard to find another book when you're scared that it's not going to be as perfect. And I still This cat is going crazy in the other room. My god. Anyway, I'm still dealing with trying to find books and not feel disappointed by reading them. So I've been pushing off all the good reads that I know that I will enjoy, simply because I've just had 2 great series this year that I'm just like, nah, no more can exist. No more great things can exist. So I don't think I read for a while. And then I was house sitting for my sister, so I was all alone, and I'm like, well, if I'm not reading anything proper, what am I gonna do? So I reread The Selection and the other 2. The Selection, The Elite, The One by Kiera Kaz. And as much as these kind of cop flack, I don't read them because I think there's like serious books, like they delve into an intricate world of world building and character development and da-da-da-da-da-da, great messages in them. We should reform society based upon the ideas of... none of that. This is just... it's literally a post-apocalyptic fantasy-ish world, but it's The Bachelorette. Or no, it's The Bachelor, because he has multiple women. It's The Bachelor, and not that I watch the TV show, I just love the slow burn of this in the series. Like, I am there for that antagonizing slow burn that takes forever to happen, and I still love it. Like, I'm pretty sure when I first read it, I gave it 5 stars. Yeah, when I first read it, I gave these 3 books 5 stars. And it's not, like, I'm upfront about the fact that it's not, I don't think it's as great as Nevernight say, but I definitely think they're great books simply if you just want to like sit back, relax, especially in the summertime, so it's perfect for like southern hemisphere or hot climate places right now where you're just like sitting anywhere and you're warm, so you don't want to think too much but you want to do something. These books are great, so I stand by that choice. And so yeah, those were the next 3. In between the second and the third, I read this picture book because picture books take like 2 seconds. The Silver Sea. I bought this at a Kmart, I'm pretty sure, or a Target. Don't remember which one, but it's the good thing, like the really cute thing about this is the illustrations came from the kids that are patients at the Royal Children's Hospital here in Melbourne, and so it's really cute. And because all picture books seem to have a message, the message is really nice and cute too. I don't remember what it is, but it's just so cute how it's a nice, light, fluffy story, and majority of the illustrations are from the kids at the Royal Children's Hospital. So I'm pretty sure all profits from the sale of this book go to the Royal Children's Hospital Education Institute. So how could you not buy this? I definitely recommend, if you are able to buy this, please do, because it's a cute little nice read and goes to a good cause. I gave that one 5 stars on Goodreads. The next one I read was Convenience Store Woman, and I think I've spoken about this one before, or did I do that in a recommend video? Anyway, it's a nice little read, and if you're a fast reader, it should be quick. Took me a couple of days, but it's easy enough, and I really liked it, and I gave it 4 stars. Sorry that I'm not explaining what the books are about. I just want to get through this pretty quick because it's just a wrap up. It's not a review video. Next one after that was How to Train Your Dragons by Cressida Cow? Is that how you pronounce her name? Anyway, I bought this book always with the intention of reading it with the audiobook, because the audiobook is by David Tennant, and how could you not? So I got an Audible subscription literally just for this, and now I have to buy the rest of the books just so I can listen to David Tennant talk in his actual accent, and I just love it, and it was thoroughly enjoyable. I mean, most audiobooks, I feel like people speed it up, but for David Tennant, I didn't. I just left his voice as is because I find it perfect to begin with. He actually talks semi-quickly. I don't think I sped it up. He talks semi-quickly, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah. So you can do it in one day, but I started it at night, so I think it took me 2 or 3 nights to get through it, and it was a great experience. I loved it. But story, I gave it 4. I feel like this could have been better. There's like one female character and the author's female, so I don't know what happened there, so that I kind of take issue with. But at the same time, great movies came out of it, and I'm not going to be mad. Also, especially when it's David Tennant narrating the story. The next one after that, it was technically a reread, but I bought the physical copy so it's technically its first read in physical, but it is Hotstopper by Alice Oseman, and it's the cutest shit. I always say it. I've put this in multiple videos because it deserves the attention, and I will always go on about it. And then when I buy the second volume as a physical copy, I will be putting that in all my videos too, because the cover on that one is adorable, and the third cover is just as cute. I love it. And that is the 5 stars. That is, I feel like I didn't have to say that for everyone to know that I find that this is a 5-star book, but it is. So, yep, that one's it. My next 2 reads, 2 books I talk about as lovingly as Nevernight, as lovingly as Heartstopper. A Winter's Promise and The Missing of Claire de Lune, because I seriously finished this. The next day I went out and bought this, and oh my god, they're still the greatest books ever. I gave them both 5 stars, and I feel like I can't go on anymore about this because I tried to do a review video on this and I still can't articulate all the complicated feelings I have of it. All majority good. I have a couple of criticisms, not too many, because I just think they're wonderful books. So yes, these are up there on my list, and I feel like if I didn't read so many books that had a lot of pages, I could have potentially read more. Like I feel like when I was reading YA, because YA is so short, I got through a lot more than I do now when I'm reading these chunky ass books. But no, I think anyway, whatever the reason, there are many probably for why I've dropped in numbers over the years. But yes, these 2, both 5 stars. The next one is a independently published fantasy book I bought on the recommendation of Jean at Bookish Thoughts. I always get, like, I talk about her a little bit and I still can't remember exactly what her YouTube channel name is, but I read Red Ropes of Fate based off her recommendation. One of the really nice things about this book is it has a really besides it having a really shiny cover and it's difficult to see, it has a really pretty cover. I think the illustration's quite great. Inside, it is nice. I really liked it, but I feel like it's all rushed, and it has plots that never are fully tied nicely. Like, it kind of starts one plot line, it comes to an abrupt end, and then it suddenly starts another plot line, and like the lead up to the romance was kind of slow burn, but it could have been much slower, especially when the ending is quite abrupt. Like, that romance plot line kind of all happens at the end and is rushed. But yes, I did enjoy it. It was a nice light read. Besides, I feel like it besides the plot needing to be built more and the characters needed to be built just a tiny more, I think it's actually a pretty good book. Like, everything else was quite tight, especially because it was self-published. I don't know if I didn't even say who the author was. K.M. Shea? K.M. Shea. I don't know if they had an editor, but the prose was actually pretty tight. So yeah, I've seen self-published books that don't have as tight as a prose as that did, so at least it had that. Next was, did I even mention it was 3-star rating? I gave that one a 3-star rating. And the next one is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. I give this one 5-star at the time, but thinking back on it, because I even was flip-flopping while reading, I would say this was a more of a 4 read looking back now, but when I finished it, I was in that like post-reading haze of this book, and I gave it a 5 stars. I think the plot in this was rushed. I don't think the characters were as consistent as they could have been. I feel like there could have been more of a slow burn, tension building romance. Yeah, I actually have a complicated relationship with this one. I like it, but I don't, and everyone else seems to like it, but then there's the few that are just like, haha, I hated it. So I feel like I'm in the middle with this one. There's things that I like and things that I don't like. My next read was Wayward Son by Rainbow Rowell. There's a lot of contention around this one too, and I don't want to get into that in this video, but despite everyone having their opinions, I am going to read this because it's what I wanted to do, and I don't think that much politics can be attached to these books, especially the first one being Carry On and this one being Wayward Son. Yeah, I don't think that much politics should be attached to these two. Some of it I would say, yeah, sure, attach politics because it is a woman writing a boy-boy romance, but she's not the first to have done that. But the contention around her other books being brought onto other books that I would say can do some good in readers that do go through similar feelings that these characters go through. So I think that's unfair in that respect, and I also think it's unfair to shame readers on what they've genuinely liked. Like, shaming them, not even like in an attempt to be like, hey, just letting you know this author's known to have done this. base your opinions based off these facts. Not just like, how could you read this? This author is bad. Like, I feel like there should be more acceptance and lenience and flexibility around all of these issues. But I should just leave that for another video, because I actually have a fair few words, not just on this author, on other authors as well. So yes, no, I read this and I gave it 5 stars. There were things that I wanted more of, but I would still say it was a good book. 5 stars. The next physical copy of a book that I read was Red, White, Royal Blue. I gave this 4 stars, and looking back on that now, I can't remember what made me give it 4 stars, especially because I remember why something's a 4-star, and like me remembering that I should have given Serpent and Dove a 4-star. No, I do remember now. The politics. That's why I didn't ever want to pick it up in the first place, but then I was seeing all of the talk around the cute romance, and I'm like, you know what, I can do that. And I loved the cute romance. The politics I was not a fan of. My problem with this is, I feel like this is an American book written by an American for an American, which is fine, but I know nothing, like next to nothing about American politics. So every time there was a scene or a chapter about Alex talking or thinking about American politics, I was like, no, because not only did I find it confusing and non-interesting, that was it. No, that's the 2 things. I was going to say boring, but non-interesting covers boring. Like, I so badly wanted to just skim through and skip it, but I can't do that. Like, I physically cannot, like, I can't do that. My brain is just like, all or nothing. You can't have the in-between. No. No. So, as much as I didn't like those scenes, I liked everything else. Love Henry. Also very much felt it when Alex had his bisexual crisis, because it's actually so accurate. Like, I've spoken about this before with my bi friends, and there's a point where you realize that you're bisexual, like it's kind of just happens, and you're just like, oh, I guess this is the programming now, like we've changed the channel, okay, that's cool. And then you start to realize that it's just like, wait, no, there were signs. There was like, if we're gonna go with the TV analogy, wow, my camera just cut out. So, if we're gonna keep with the TV analogy, it's like changing from one channel to another, and then you're just like, wait a second, there was actually commercials for this channel on the other channel, and I just didn't realize until now, like, what? There is signs, and it's just like, wait a second, I thought I really liked this person of my own gender, because I thought I admired them, and I thought they were like smart and clever and really cool, and I thought I wanted to be like them. But no, joke's on you, you wanted to be with them. And that's kind of the bisexual crisis, like a part of it. And so yeah, I really felt it when Alex went through that. But yes, all the politics, I was just like, nah, skip. Ugh. The next 2 that I read were on my Kindle. They were ebooks, because I got that for my birthday, and it was really great and exciting. And if I'm some sort of genius and I actually figured this out without being really frustrated with myself for not being able to figure it out, I will be able to put the covers on the screen. So the first one that I read on my Kindle was called Pestilence, by Laura Thalassa. I'm really sorry, but I tried. I gave that one 3 stars. It seemed like a self-published book, not a bad thing, but when you self-publish a book, I feel like always one of the elements suffer. There's either like really poor plot or plot progression or really inconsistent characters or really bad grammar and syntax and prose. I feel like one of those things suffers when it's self-published, and I think with Pestilence, I think it was the grammar and the plot kind of was the characters were great. I actually really liked the characters. And then it's a romance book, but I found like it was like a really, really long slow burn, but I think it really could have been better. Like, I think the slow burn could have been less of a slow burn. It's like instead of putting it in the oven for 6 hours, it went into the slow cooker for 10. And it's just like, you should have just put it in the oven, hun. Anyway, I'm trying to make these analogies, apparently. The next one was, I am gonna struggle with this name and I am so sorry. You Had Me at Hello by Mahari McFarlane. I saw this on Twitter. I think I saw someone that said, how did I not know that this book existed? It's a romance. It was actually pretty cute. The slow burn wasn't as slow as the last one that I read. So it wasn't bad, but it was one of those romance stories it was one of those romance stories where it was right person, wrong time. And that's like the saddest shit to me. Like, it hurts me more than not seeing a couple get together immediately, because I love the slow burn and I can tolerate that. I cannot tolerate just two people obviously loving each other and wanting to be together, but circumstances prevent them from being together, and it hurts me. Like, and I just, you know, it made me super sad to read it while I was reading it, but I read it fairly quickly because I was like, I want to read, but I also don't want to have the bedroom light on to read a proper book. So I read that, and I didn't mention it with this one again. I gave it a 3 stars because I feel like I was sad and the editing was not as refined, and I do judge a book a little bit just based on that. Like, not like typos, there was like semi-constant errors. So I was like, my enjoyment has been dampened just slightly. Yeah, and that's all the books that I read. There were others that I attempted to read and then DNF'd, I'm fairly sure. Like The Little Prince, I've mentioned it before. I can't lie anymore, it's a DNF, but I do plan on going back to it. I'm still making my way through The City of Brass, really enjoying it. I'm not enjoying Ali's chapters as much as I enjoy Nahari, is that her name? And then there were a few uni books that also were probably dropped as well because uni is a mess. And then when I had my slumps, I just couldn't settle on books. So I probably have read like the blurbs of some of these books over and over again. And then I just haven't picked them. But yes, that is it. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I feel like I talked for a very long time. And yeah, so gonna have another drink of water because it's another hot day. Gonna take a breath and... Yes, Loki. Yeah. I feel like he's also hot and he just wants attention. Cat, I feel ya. Thank you for watching. Bye. Bye.